As you're describing this, it's really about specific, like there's specific client acquisition methods that this is tailored for, right? It's not for, say, LinkedIn ads, for example, I would guess.
I don't think anything is for LinkedIn ads, to be honest. I don't know if LinkedIn ads work. It's just like, I haven't tested. Do they work?
They work, yeah. It's just a more expensive game. Yeah, not the first thing to try.
Yeah, for sure. That's the point of it as well. It's organic.
How do you feel about like opinionated design? Because when I look at your tool like KPI Tracker and your experience, you guys have opinions. You have a way to say, what is the right volume? What's the right actions? Are you in the right sequence? Can you talk about that with respect to the app versus say like we're going to just make it general for everyone?
And so to be honest with you, we just want to make this product as good as possible and leave the pricing as is and increase it, have different like tiers and stuff like that. But our solution, we want to progress to a different product that we can charge more for, which is that Adtaria that I talked about earlier, which is more so our vision.
Jason, welcome to Product Growth Stories. I'm so excited to have you on the show and talk about your journey from a business owner to a SaaS founder building KPI Tracker.ai. Why don't we start with just an introduction? Where did you get started in the business game?
Yeah, so thank you for having me, man. I appreciate your patience with me over the last couple of weeks. So I've been doing this like the consulting and agency stuff for 8+ years now. And, my brother and I, like years ago, we bought this domain. We still have, it's Adtaria.com. I don't know what we bought it for. And we just like wanted to eventually transition into this, SaaS kind of world, or at least like build out stuff more than just what we're doing with marketing. Because for us, our vision is like, we want to buy a rugby league team in Australia. And so we can't really do that with just like coaching and consulting. We need to scale. Yeah. So that's one of the biggest things for us and what we've wanted to do. So over the last few months, with the accessibility of being able to build things without hiring expensive developers and stuff like that now, or at least like getting, MVPs out, it's really cool. So that's our transition and what we've been doing over the last couple of months.
And yeah, it makes me think about how, at least when you're doing consulting and coaching, you actually solve the same problem over and over again with different people, and you give them that like extra love and help to get over whatever, but it's the same thing. And I can see how, all right, well, this could be a course, and then that course, well, this could be an application. I kind of feel like that's the direction you went. Like, well, this is the thing we have to help people set up over and over and over again.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. My brother and I said this the other day. It's like, well, even just like on Tuesday, I interviewed one of our clients. He was an e-com agency. He was doing like 10K a month, went all the way up to, I think last month he did like 66K, fantastic results. He could definitely scale further, but it's the case that he did was like track these numbers, which he wasn't doing before, and did it every single day consistently. And I'm like, well, a lot of coaching can be boiled down with that. Yeah, we've got the positioning, the messaging, the content, all of that. Yeah, for sure. But majority of the effort is the actual just doing it every single day, which 99% of people don't do, whether they don't know how to or they don't want to. And that's another conversation.
Yeah. Daily action and tracking is pretty, that and like don't run out of money. That's all you need to do.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the entirety of the game. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd love to hear how you think about the product development, because a lot of people that I talk to, they're more on a technical side, or maybe they come from more, I would say like a corporate background, and they see like, oh, here's an enterprise problem that we could solve more efficiently than those teams can do. And, it's a little bit of a different angle. And I have a feeling that, doing this for 8 years, coaching people on tracking KPIs to grow businesses, you're going to have a different approach. So I'd love to hear, like, how do you think about customer acquisition and product development?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the first thing that I like say to a lot of people is that, in terms of business, it's about doing the right set of actions in the right order at the right volume. Like if we break it down, it realistically is that. And the thing is, people get frustrated because they're doing the right actions and they're doing the right order, but it might not be the right thing. And so for us, like really focusing on just getting what you need to be doing and the focus and making sure that you're doing that consistently is going to get you to success. So for us, like in business, that's like our philosophy. Now what we want to do is how can we make a product that makes all of those steps or makes any part of that workflow a lot easier? I think that especially with AI, and I made a post about this yesterday, is that people are trying to solve problems that don't exist with AI.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think that that's just because it's cool and sexy to do and it's easy, is that like, I saw this guy, he posted this YouTube video and it had 100,000 views. And he was like, how I automate with AI. And his first thing was he automated a PDF that comes from email, and AI would interpret it and then send the summary to a Telegram bot. And I'm just like, just freaking
Why?
read the PDF. Like, what's the point? You know, like there's no point. And I
I
think that
spent
that's what
8
happens
weeks
to a lot of
automating
AI.
this,
Yeah.
and now I saved a minute.
It's just so common.
Yeah.
So common. And what people are doing is they're building a lot of products that aren't really solving an issue. And not only that, because I think that that's such a business cliche, is like find the pain and problem, and then you'll be able to create a product. I think
Mhm.
that more than that is identifying who you can really serve, and then figuring out how can you make a certain workflow or a certain part of their day, especially in B2B SaaS, certain part of their day easier. And if you can do that, your positioning is already there because you're fixing the problem that they have. And so if they're already tracking KPIs, or they're already, taking notes, whatever it is, the better way to do X, Y, Z. And
Mhm.
that's like really how we've been thinking about products. And we're not just building this one. Like, I think we've reiterated it, made it a lot better, which will be coming out soon. But we've made other things that are solving these problems. The cool thing is because we're in the industry, we have the audience, we know the problems, and we know how to solve it as well.
Yeah, and that I would say this is an enormous difference. If I look at the typical tech founder approach, they would start with the software, but you
Yeah.
literally went and did it by hand. And it's funny. Like in another life, in a completely different life, I led a team to build the world's fastest T-shirt machine. It's very another life. We had a large budget, another world,
Yeah.
and I spent like a month making T-shirts in a factory. Like no one knew. I was in there with the other workers, and that's you shortcutting that is not a shortcut. That's all the like sneaky stuff you need to know. And I really feel like you've done that here. And I like that
Yeah.
you said one thing that came to mind when you talked about who. So you have a very specific person that you're building this for.
Yeah, I always think that, my brother and I have used this example so often. Is like, and it's kind of like a made up story, but it gets made up years ago, and then you just keep repeating it, so you think it's fact. And we just say this, and it's kind of true when you look at the marketing of Apple in the early 2000s. Is
Yeah.
Apple, if you watch some of their commercials with the white head earphones, it was always
Hmm.
young, attractive people in San Francisco, because that was their
Yeah.
aspirational character, right? And so
Hmm.
now you see a lot of like, fat, ugly people with iPhones, right? And so they kind of expanded from there. Is the
Hmm.
first focus was that, aspirational character, and you can expand. Most people want to create something that is Apple, like there are, Apple's at step 1,000 where we're at step 1. And so we can focus in on solving a specific problem for a specific use case. And that means it's automatically more valuable to those people because it's specific for them. And
Hmm.
then we can add on and we can grow. Now, also because of our engineering and design background being extremely limited, being able to create something smaller and more specific allows us to build a lot slower, but also it allows us to cash flow because we don't
Hmm.
have to build something so great that requires a big launch and, a Y Combinator logo on the,
Yeah.
homepage and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, I mean, also because you built the audience, right? So you can say,
Yep.
do you want this
That
tool
helps.
that we know you need?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, that also makes me, I mean, I'm curious about opinionated design. So when I'm talking to you, I keep thinking in my mind, like the difference between kind of what I see your approach being versus, a VC backed, money burning machine that's solving a huge problem.
Indeed.
Yeah. How do you feel about like opinionated design? Because when I look at your tool, like KPI Tracker and your experience, you guys you have opinions. You have a way
Indeed.
to say, what is the right volume? What's the right actions? Are you in the right sequence? Can you talk about that with respect to the app versus say like we're gonna
Yeah.
just make it general for everyone?
Such a good point is that I have found every time that we've used an app that is, especially with Notion as an example, right? I actually
Hmm.
really like Notion now,
Hmm.
but we've tried to use it like 7 times. Like Notion, my billing history is so funny. It goes like 2019 and then nothing, 2021 and then
Maybe this
2024.
time.
Yeah, I'm just like off and on it. And the reason is because it's actually a really good tool and there's so much you can do with it. And that's the frustration, because how do
Hmm.
you know the best use for that? And now that we have a bit more time and been able to build it properly, yeah, it can work. And what happens with a lot of people is they come on any of these softwares and they want all of this customization, which leads them to not using it or not understanding how to use it. So we started with like, okay, this is the framework that's already working, but we can also customize it. And Chris made it really clear. He wanted this button within the app that says restore to default metrics. And he wanted it in like bright red and bigger than everything. I'm like, I don't love that. And you press that and it will restore it to the metrics that are just at the start and just what you need, which I think that it's like narrowing it down, because then we can get people to use the workflow within the framework rather than thinking, oh, I need to add this, I need to add that. Yes, we're enabling that. And like the new version actually has some really good customization, but we still have the basics within, the framework. Because I think you're right. Like everyone has an opinion on how it should be done, even to the point where someone messaged us saying we use the word reach out instead of like new DM. I'm like, if you hate it that much, just change it. Like you can change the word. It's the same thing. So yeah, I think that's, for us, it's like within the framework and then you can expand from there.
Actually, I think I would love to hear your explanation. What does overall, what does KPI Tracker, what problem does it solve and for who? And then how exactly does that work?
Yeah, it's a good question. So it's interesting because it's such a narrow problem that we've actually expanded to fix it. And we've built something else that I think is going to be much better. And we'll talk about that later. Is the problem that it solves is really simple for us. Is that people say, like, I just love this quote, and I'm pretty sure I heard it somewhere, but I don't remember. So if you Google it, my name comes up, which is cool. Is there's no shame in not hitting your goals, just in not knowing why. And I think that that's such a powerful thing, is because so many people are worried about like, oh, I didn't hit this month or I didn't hit that. When the reality is the inputs are the reason that you didn't hit that. And so behind your inputs, you can do more, or you can, at least if you're like, oh, I'm hitting the numbers, but I'm still not hitting it. Okay, that means the messaging's off. It becomes two problems. It's either volume or, messaging. So it becomes a much simpler game. And for us, we want to make sure that people have a way to track that. One, as automatic as possible, but that's proving a little difficult because Twitter API is expensive and Facebook don't let you do anything with their metrics. But we've got kind of some workarounds, so that's coming. And two, so it's automatic, but two, so it's visual as well. So you can understand go on.
So if I had to read, just let me see if I got it. It's sort of, you want to help business owners understand why they are or not hitting their metrics. And so they can diagnose what's the root problem. And you're trying to make it visual so they can just look and see like, well, I know what to do next.
Yeah, exactly. Because I used to do this exercise where I would look at my Stripe and then like see a record month. And then I would look at the content that I produced within that month, because that's a big indicator. And I would look at the numbers, the volume, but also what I was posting. And if I would see the discrepancy, I'm like, well, this month I posted, and we actually found the numbers. When I post on Facebook 38 times, that equals above 50K a month, like in new sales, which is really, like 38's the number. Yeah. And so that's kind of like the association that I can develop. And so it's a volume game, but it's allowing us to understand like what are the inputs that are resulting in big changes in the business. And there's obviously outside factors, but we have a baseline for being able to investigate.
And as you're describing this, it's really about specific, like there's specific client acquisition methods that this is tailored for, right? It's not for say LinkedIn ads, for example, I would guess.
I don't think anything is for LinkedIn ads, to be honest. I don't know if LinkedIn ads work. One, it's just like, I don't know. I haven't. Do they work?
They work. Yeah. It's just a more expensive game. Yeah. Not the first thing to try.
Yeah. For sure. That's the point of it as well. It's organic, but we do want to get into that side as well. We just like, it's much easier to solve the problem in front of us. Like, so the first implementation was individual plans, and then the second was team. And the reason that is just because we wanted it to release so people who are individuals, because that's the primary market, can use it. And then we'll go team, and then we'll implement other things as well.
And I'm curious, do you have a product-led growth strategy? Do you have a specific plan for how to increase the LTV of your of your users over time, or just like increase the value to them? Do you have a pricing structure or any plans around that yet?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for us, this app is kind of like basically our foray into this world. I actually built something else, well, another couple of things. I built this as like, this is the problem that I know is unique to me, and like I can brand it really well for myself. And so to be honest with you, we just want to make this product as good as possible and leave the pricing as is, and like increase it, have different like tiers and stuff like that. But our solution, we want to progress to a different product that we can charge more for, which is that Adtaria that I talked about earlier, which is more so our vision. And the thing is like what we want to do is connect the products, not connect them in a way that's like, oh, well, you know, you buy this, you have to buy this, but it's both of them like, hey, you're tracking KPIs now, you should use this. And so like really the progression is the KPIs, like the front end offer, if you will, because I have it. The only place that I have it right now is you click the link in my bio to subscribe to my email list, and you scroll down instead of subscribing, and there's the link to it. That's it. And it still gets like a sale a day and like several renewals a day. And I'm like, well, that's kind of crazy. So it's showing that it's an easy kind of no-brainer. Yeah. Like it's just an easy no-brainer, but we want to build something that's like more robust that we can, you know, progress further.
So the overall vision is then you're going to look at basically the next problem in line in that business and build a separate suite. Yeah. Exactly. And I guess that also lets you compartmentalize the risk, right? You can leave this, and then if you launch another one, you have difficulties with that, you can scrap it, replace it. It doesn't necessarily affect like part one of the front end.
I think that like it's a little bit different. I think probably because maybe the people listening would be like, well, this guy's like completely different to the world that we're in, because they're like, the one product, you know, let's get $1 million from VC and stuff like that. It's a little different for me is because one, I can launch stuff like I've said this to Chris, like I could launch a freaking half-ass PDF and make a couple grand off it for anything, because just being able to build the audience. So I have that luxury, if you will. But also
and that's because you've prepaid that kind of, you've already, because people talk about audiences like it's this, they disconnect from human beings. I think when I hear someone like build an audience, like it's this abstract thing, but it's really like, there are people that you have helped for years. And now because of that, if you offer them something, they're very interested. They're like, hey, Jason's a good guy. What's he gonna, this might help me.
That's so true. That's such an important discussion. Like recently we held an event that had, I don't know, it was like 1,400 registrations, and I didn't realize that Zoom's capped at 100. So I had to like, upgrade it, which was very expensive, by the way. Like crazy how expensive that upgrade is.
They're like, you have an audience, don't you?
Yeah. So it was really good. But I told a story to kind of promote the event a little bit, how when I did my first event, 20 people registered. And I remember sitting on my couch and saying to my brother, like, man, that's crazy. Like 20 people, that would fill this whole room. And I've held that belief my entire career. When the numbers are crazy, like I partnered with someone, we had 10,000 registrations before, and like my mind was blown. I've always thought of it as people rather than just audience. And I think that's like, it might be a little woo-woo in a sense, but it's like, it's the reality. And that's why my audience is strong, even though it's not large. Like I think that it's not this massive audience, but it's these people who are willing to buy from me no matter what it is. And that, again, I've earned that and paid for it, if you will.
Yeah. Love that. So I'm curious, do you want to use this as a way to draw more people into your audience, or is this only kind of, going down a funnel from your audience, or are you going to later try to direct net new people to the app that don't know you yet?
Yeah, so that's the path we eventually want to take. I think that I'm so lucky in a sense that I can basically stay in beta forever, and like it's actually profitable because that my own audience is beta, if you will. And so even when I grow new people, is my like email list, like all my content is all structured in a way that they'll become a valuable audience member. But for me, the goal is ultimately to take this further and take this beyond just what we have. And I think that there's two things, and especially on Twitter, there's two ways people are doing things, is like the build in public thing, which is hilarious sometimes because everyone's like, I'm building in public, but it's attracting literally other SaaS founders.
I know, it's very funny. We all go in circles, and
I'm like, okay.
I'm building tools for SaaS founders.
And then then it's like they become I had this quote, like it's from, Batman. It's like you either die the hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. It's either you die the operator, or you live long enough to see yourself become a consultant or coach or something. Like, damn, I'm the coach, right? So guilty as charged, but it's just what most of them will probably end up doing.
Yeah.
But going back to it, the build in public thing is that I think that it's still good to do because one, it builds you as a personal brand. But I think that what a lot of people miss is that they aren't building in public, which I think is good, but aren't actually being a value creator within giving value to the actual people that want or will use the product.
Yes. So it's not just showing cool stuff that you think other SaaS founders will appreciate and like getting a little bit of support. Like, hey guys, it is hard. It's a hard game. But you're saying like as you build in public, that has to be valuable for the same people that would buy the SaaS in the end, because otherwise it's building the wrong audience. That is a great point you made, because I have never heard that articulated that well, but that is the problem.
It's the biggest problem is that I think so for example, our next tool will be focused on in sales. So my content will be centered around and like giving valuable information around sales on like how do you improve and how do you get better at marketing and stuff like that, which attracts all the people that want to do those things. Well, cool. Here's a tool for that. And so that is a really like thing that a lot of people miss is it's just like the build in public, it becomes a vanity play at some point. And it's funny because I see, there's a couple of people who are doing it and I'm seeing them now. They're just like creating videos for their audience, which is other SaaS founders. And I'm like, well, at that point, what's the point? Like you're not getting more sales for it. Like it's just wasting several hours of your week posting content. Just focus on the product or other marketing channels. So
yeah. Love that.
It's a bit of both.
So, okay. So also one thing I think looking at KPI Tracker and the way you described it, so you have this benefit of a warm audience, which also means they are like very good beta testers versus something really cold. Like people actually care about you and they, for good reason, they're going to take a little bit of extra effort to tell you like, hey, this part, I don't like it that much, and not churn at the same time and wait for you to fix it. And it gives you some time with like great feedback before, because to get it to get your SaaS cold friendly and making sense to a complete stranger is a whole nother level of development.
Oh yeah. I think that it's a blessing and a curse because I think that I've been in the SaaS founder Twitter space a lot lately just because I want to see what's going on. And I'm signing up to a lot of these different products that people are releasing. And a lot of them don't realize that they are losing their one chance. Like they have a viral tweet, they have viral whatever. I sign up and I'm like, this is absolute dog shit. Or like, I don't know what to do, right? And I know that some people get that in our products. Like I understand that. I'm lucky to have the audience to being able to communicate with them. I think that the problem is that MVP is so often used, but MVP is like some people are just putting up, here's a Google sheet, like go use it. Yeah. I think that it needs to, especially if you're cold ready, is like it needs to have the functionality to at least go, yeah, I want to stick around for a month and it'll get better and better. So I have the benefit of like, I can release a lot less of that MVP, if you will, and people will stick around. However, at the same time, it's like the pressure's off. So I maybe I'm a little bit slower, but I think that, ultimately the upside's big for me. And anyone, like we've had people who have churned and because they missed a feature or they couldn't communicate, and I said, oh, we just added that. And so they came back. So I think that that's the benefit too.
Yeah. Been a great discussion. Thank you so much, Jason.
Of course. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.